Sir,
Yes,
kindly
sir.
start this essay.
Yes, sir. Sure. Okay, I'm going to present my screen and just let me know if it is visible. All right. I believe that everyone is able to watch my screen and voice is audible to all of you. Okay. So again, we will take a recap just in a minute of what we have discussed so far. Here we can just go through it. In the beginning, we tried to understand the term political theory. We tried to understand the definitions as well. What is the difference between political and theory? While discussing, we also tried to trace the history of the evolution of political science. We tried to understand the difference between political philosophy, political thought, and political theory. Then, at last, we came to democracy, which was discussed yesterday itself, and we came to this slide called as or known as challenges to democracy. Yesterday, we just began with this concept that, or with this slide, wherein we are supposed to discuss about the challenges faced by democracy, whether it can be Indian democracy or any democratic setup for that matter. Okay, because there are few things which are always troubling, in governance, and this is the task of political theorists, or we can say people from political science, to address such issues. The biggest threat which we have today is a corruption, right? Because democracy or democratic setup is launched not only for the rulers or for the government. In fact, the government is initiated for the well-being of the people, right? So people are supposed to abide by the rules, right? Whatever rules and regulations are there, those are supposed to be followed. And on the other hand, government is expected to create such kind of conducive atmosphere or situation where people can utilize their liberties, rights, freedom, and advance themselves or promote themselves. Here again, voters and their votes matter a lot, because whenever it comes to democracy, it is expected that people are supposed to come out of home, visit nearest polling booth, and cast their vote. However, even today, a significant number of people do not vote in elections, right? And now the question arises that if a large number of people are not voting in election, okay, and if few amount of people are voting, can we call it as a legitimate government? Is a question, isn't it? Because democracy is what? Democracy is something where government is elected on the majority basis, right? So therefore, people's participation in election is extremely essential. And when you don't vote in election, right, when you are not casting your vote in the elections, at that time, there is higher possibility that inappropriate people may get elected in elections. Right? That is something serious because it is not at all good for the democracy. So, what we need to do here is that we have to increase voters' engagement in election. Large amount of voter turnout is expected in any democratic setup. Okay, and for that matter only, we need to have, I can say, inclusive voting pattern where everyone is free to vote as per their wisdom and they can take rational decisions in the elections. One more challenge which is there in front of the nation is inequality. Right? Economic and social disparities are biggest problems for any democratic setup. Okay. Economic inequality, which clearly states that when there are two classes, mainly called rich class and poor class, even if rich and poor class is there, still it is fine. But the problem is when the gap between rich and poor increases day by day rather than reducing it down. Okay. Yesterday also I made a statement where I said that 20% population of this world controls almost 80% resources of this planet Earth. Right? Just imagine that only 20% people and remaining rest 80% are satisfied with or they have to somehow manage with 20% assets across the globe. This is the irony. This is not expected in any democratic setup. It is very obvious in feudal forms of governments where you have only serf, the lords who controls everything. For example, landlords. Even in India also we had landlords who controlled hundreds and thousands of acres of land once upon a time in India. But later on, due to reformation in the farming sector, now that big amount of land is not provided to any individual. Okay, land was distributed to the landless people in India. Okay, so that is something about economic inequality. Social disparity is yet another challenge in front of India. Of course, everywhere across the globe, they have inequality on some or the other ground, but here, caste is the major factor for the cause of inequality. Okay, because inequality again arises out of social discrimination, where a particular community is discriminated by the rest of the communities, then problem arises. Okay, that community is thrown back. Okay, and for that matter, again, we can say that this is also not a good sign for a healthy democracy. So, whatever economic and social inequalities or disparities are there, those are supposed to be addressed, those are supposed to be reduced down, and real sense of equality is expected to be realized. One more detrimental element of challenge is that when it comes to voting in election, there are higher chances that unaware people, or we can say illiterate people or ignorant people, are misled by the various political parties and leaders. Right? Because when it comes to election, of course, every political party will claim that when we will come in election, we will do this, we will do that. So false promises are being made even today. Okay. So somewhere that has to be stopped because elections are not, they are not the games of, truth and dare or false things to be spoken in front of people just to appease them, just to get their votes. Okay. So therefore, such things are also equally detrimental. However, these things can be stopped when people will be made aware of their rights and duties. When they will realize the importance of one single vote in elections, then every citizen will feel, you know, empowered one. Because every voter has immense amount of power which can be exerted through voting in elections. And the social media, which I tried to discuss yesterday to some extent, that was just a beginning. We will discuss furthermore in that category and then we will move to the next point. Social media also plays, we can say, a significant role to damage democratic principles. Okay. Why I'm saying is because whatever post you watch on social media, whether it is Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, or Twitter, YouTube, whatever applications are there, we sometimes, rather every time we believe that whatever pictures are shared, whatever videos are shared on different platforms, whatever likes, dislikes, comments, whatever we watch, we believe that these are posted by the human beings, right? But every time this is not the truth. These pictures, videos, and even comments are automated. Okay. There are certain algorithms in IT field, IT industry. Those who know IT industry, they might be knowing about it. There are certain algorithms to which we call bot. Okay. These are like small robots who can do its work on itself. Okay. You don't need to command that robot or you don't need to give any kind of order to that robot. Once the program is fixed, okay, immediately that robot will start functioning accordingly. Let's assume, just for instance, if I am making a bot, okay, and now I'm giving command to that bot, follow a particular page on Facebook, Instagram, right? Then second command I would give that whenever a person is posting on that page, immediately you should comment over there positively or negatively, whatever command you will give. Okay. Whenever that image is posted, immediately you start liking or disliking that page or that post. Just imagine that these are the commands which we are giving to a machine, a robot, which is invisible to us because it is inside the computer. It is just a programming, right? So what is happening over here exactly? Here we are creating such kind of robots or bots who is taking command over or control over people's life. Okay. Now, you never know what kind of comment will be made over there because it is done with the help of AI, artificial intelligence. So AI itself decides what to comment and what not to comment. What you need to do is just give a command like when you will go to this page, comment positively. When you will go to that page, comment negatively. Just two commands you have to give. Okay. And as per that, that bot will function. What to comment, how to comment, when to comment, everything will be decided by that AI itself, artificial intelligence. Okay. And how this artificial intelligence is becoming more and more powerful, I'll give you again small example that so far, whatever we can say evolutions we have seen since beginning, since we can say from the advent of humans on this earth, we have seen one of the revolutionary progress to which we call industrial revolution, right? Industrial revolution started when the steam engine was discovered, or rather he made that steam engine, James Watt. We all know that. When he made that steam engine, we believe that from there onwards, we began the journey of industrial revolution. All right. But from there onwards till today, there is one common thing that whatever machines we have developed so far, whether it is aircraft, railways, or buses, cars, bikes, or big machines, even computers, whatever you can take, all these advancements, there is one common thing in all these things, that is, you need human touch to operate that, right? Without humans interference, these things cannot function. For example, if you have a bike, you have to start your bike, you have to ride your bike. If you have a car, you have to start your car. Of course, the nowadays you have automatic cars also, but at least for that you need to give command, right? You need to give, signal, you need to switch it on, then only that car will start, you know the engine. Even you can take, for example, the printing press, right? Printing press is also one of the, discovery. So a printing press can print all the pages, print all the books which are available with you. However, a printing press itself cannot write a book. Correct? That printing press itself cannot write a book. It can just print that particular copy. But when it comes to AI, it can. Okay. That's the advantage of AI. That's the, we can say, drastic change which AI has brought. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that so far, whatever manufacturing we did, that was limited. Like for example, if you are producing 10 cars, the production will be stopped. Or if you are we can say producing 20 bikes, and if after that if you are not producing, it will stop over there, right? But AI is somewhat different. Artificial intelligence is something where once you create AI, and that AI will create further AIs itself. There is the challenge, okay, to which we call alien intelligence, right? Whatever is created by humans, it is called artificial, right? Therefore, we call it as artificial intelligence. But there are few things which are created by artificial intelligence itself further, and those things are called as alien intelligence, because we are not creating them, someone else is creating, right? That AI is creating. So in short, here a AI can not just only print a book, rather it can write a book also itself. It can have its own imagination, it can have, its own ideas, and with the help of that, it can write multiple books with its own imagination. Okay, there exactly the danger or challenge lies. Okay, And now with the advent of AI, again, hundreds and thousands of people are losing their jobs. It is very obvious that whenever new technology arises, millions of people loses their jobs, right? We all know that when computer came in, we lost jobs in India. When machines came in, when machines were produced and developed and installed in India, thousands of workers lost their jobs, right? No. So whenever new technique or technology arises, it is very obvious that people will lose their jobs. But the thing is what, so far what we were doing, machines are created to carry out, we can say, common activities, common tasks, where we can say low scale jobs can be done by machines. For example, excavation, or we can say digging the road, or construction of a building. So these are, we can say, somewhat low scaled skills where those labors were involved initially. Of course, I'm not talking about, we can say, architect and builders. I'm talking about laborers, workers. Okay. So these are the low scale jobs. But when big machines came in, like for example, JCB, right? Or we can say that elevators, right? Big towers were seen. So all these machines replaced human beings. Same is the case with computers. Computers replaced human beings. But the difference which I'm trying to tell you here is that when they replaced humans, they tried to replace those people who were less skilled. Okay. So it is like low skilled people were replaced. But afterwards, when AI came in, it is doing altogether different thing. Now what AI is doing? AI is trying to replace those people who are intellectual, who are having high skills. All right. Just imagine, for example, a website developer, right? He has a professional job. Website developer, he can develop his own website and he can sell it to anyone, right? Let's assume if any hospital is there or any college is there, any school is there, and if you are a programmer, right, you can build the website for them and you can get the money from them for the same, right? So this is professional job, right? But now AI is, forcing them also to be unemployed, because AI is now exactly hitting to them. Whatever website is supposed to be built, for that, now onwards, you don't need any programmer or website developer. Simply give command to your computer, or we can say artificial intelligence tools like chat gpt, and those tools will create websites for you without any help of website developer. Okay, this is the change, this is the difference. So high skilled people are now becoming unemployed. This is what has been done by AI, right? So these are the, we can say, few things which are challenging to the humanity, and if it is not controlled in time, then we can say AI will start controlling human beings itself. Okay, that is the reason due to which European Parliament and many other countries now they are coming forward and trying to regulate, trying to formulate policies to address such kind of challenges across the globe. Okay, so fine. I think this is sufficient for this point. Now I will take the next slide where we have to discuss about fundamental concepts or important concepts of governance. Okay, we have to understand which are those concepts which are essential in terms of governance in political science. Out of these few points we have discussed yesterday, but we will again take a short review of that if needed. Okay, first one is rights. Okay, we all hear this term rights, and everyone may simply think that yes, we are aware of that. There is nothing new in that. That we are aware of our rights. Yes, true. But first, we have to understand that how these rights are given or extended to the citizens. Okay. In order to get the right, first you have to understand the significance of that particular idea. For instance, education. Okay. Just we can say till few years back, we did not have education as a right. You must be knowing that, right? Education was not a fundamental right. It was just a normal legal right. So what we did, the intellectual class realized that education is a must thing for everyone. Education is the only instrument as of now which can civilize the uncivilized people, right? Education teaches the way of life to the nation, right? So in this case, it is found that education is something something most essential and which should be given to almost everyone. Okay, and when you realized it, you started demanding it from the government, because government is the one who regulates the things, right? That is the only supreme authority in any country, right? So first we have to understand, first you have to analyze and then feel the importance of that particular need, and once you feel it that this is something important, then you claim it from the government. Okay, and when you claim it, it eventually depends on the government whether government will give it to you or not. But if the government is wise enough, if the government is nationalistic, if the government is thinking and working in favor of the nation, definitely they will accept that demand, because they also understand the significance of it, right? So I hope it is clear to you that first you need to realize the importance and essentiality of that, then you claim it, then you get the right. Okay, because then government forms a law on it, forms a policy on that. Okay. Again, we have to understand the difference between legal rights and fundamental rights. This is something again essential. When it comes to legal rights, these are such rights which are definitely given by the Constitution. Okay, for instance, right to property. Okay, this is a legal right, and everyone can possess property, right? However, whether to get the property or not is your choice. Whether to work hard for the property or not is your choice. Government has nothing to do with it, right? Government is just simply giving opportunity to all of you that work hard, work smartly, and get the property, whatever you want. You can have your own car, bike, bungalow, building, whatever you want. Okay. This is something called legal right. However, on the contrary, when it comes to fundamental rights, of course, citizens have that right the way legal right has, but here government cannot run away from its responsibility. Okay. Here government play essential role. For instance, we will take the same example of education. When government declares that education is a fundamental right of every child, okay, once it is listed in fundamental rights, government has to provide that right. It is not that whether people want it or not, whether people will work hard for it or not, government will provide it. Okay, and that too free of cost. Now few of you may wonder that how is it possible, because when we go to school they charge fees from us, right? Yes, that is true, but it is applicable to private schools. When you go to government schools, they do not charge, because it is a responsibility. It is a responsibility of the government to provide free education to every child who is belonging to the age group of 6 to 14 years. Okay, so therefore, if your child is falling under the category of 6 to 14 years, he can get free and compulsory education from the government. Nowadays, under RTI, right to education, 25% seats are reserved for economically weaker sections also, right? So this is also something important over here. Everything will be taken care of by the government. Even we can say the dressing, shoes, tie, or we can say the bag, books, notebooks, pen, pencil, everything shall be provided by the government. Okay. And this is the child of every right. The only thing is that if you admit your child in the government school, government will provide all of this. If you don't, and if you go to private school, then you will have to bear your own expenses. That is the thing. So now here you must have understood the difference between legal right and fundamental right. In legal rights, government is not extending any kind of help or support to you. Government would simply say that you are free to gain money, gain profit, and take your property. But when it comes to fundamental right, government has to take the responsibility. Government has to ensure that whatever fundamental rights are listed in the constitution, government will have to work for the fulfillment of those rights. Okay. So that is a major difference between legal rights and fundamental rights. Okay. Then we can say protection of these rights is also one of the important element. It's not that just government is saying that yes, we will give you fundamental right, okay, and they just listed in the, we can say, constitution, and nobody is just looking after that. This shall not be done. For that, there is one provision, okay, in Indian Constitution. Article 32 talks about constitutional remedies, okay, which simply means that if your fundamental right is violated by government or by company or by organization or by any individual, by anyone, if your fundamental right is violated, if it is not provided to you, then you can directly approach in Supreme Court. Okay. Even you don't have to go to, that you can say district court, then high court, and then Supreme Court. Directly you can appeal in Supreme Court. Of course, these options are also there. You can go to district court, then you can go to high court. But if you don't want to waste your time, simply directly you can go to Supreme Court as well. That option is also available with you. Okay. So again, here you can say that whatever rights are promised by the Constitution, Constitution itself is ensuring that all the rights will be delivered to you. And if any one of them is violated, you can directly appeal in the judiciary, and judiciary will provide that due right to all of you. Okay, that is the importance of rights. Further, second point is about liberty. Okay, just think about, can we have liberty without rights? Okay, or can we have rights without liberty? And the answer of both of them is no, right? Because in order to have the rights, you need to have liberty. You need to have, rights to have liberty also. So it is vice versa and complementary to each other. Okay, and this is also something essential which is supposed to be preserved by the government of the day. Liberty of the citizens is supposed to be respected and protected by the state machinery, that is government. Okay, and why it is respected, we can say why it is important to be protected, you can understand with this example. Let's assume we have, we can say, scientists, okay, who believe in scientific experiments, who believe in scientific evidences, which we all know that scientific experiments are absolutely necessary for the advancement of any nation, right? Otherwise we will always be, falling in the blind faith. To come out of that, you need to have advancement. Today you can see that India is reaching on moon and Mars and many more places, right, in space. We are successfully launching hundreds and thousands of satellites every year, right? So what it shows, that we respected individuals' liberty. Okay, we respected freedom of expression, and because of that, we are having intellectual class amongst us, and that intellectual class is taking the nation ahead, right? For instance, we have had many scientists like APJ Abdul Kalam. He was one of the sharpest person, right? Or many more leaders you can take, many more, we can say, scientists you can list here, and those all people are considered as an asset of the nation. Okay, and this is true also, because they are contributing to the nation building, right? They are contributing to take the country to the next level. So if they are working for the nation, so it is equal responsibility of the nation to respect their liberty, to respect their freedom, right? And when you respect them, then only they can enthusiastically contribute in the nation building. Okay, this is about something called materialistic development. Okay, let's take, we can say, apart from materialistic development, you may take the example, small again, example of social sciences, and you will understand further. Let's assume that you do not have freedom of speech. Okay, when you don't have the freedom of speech, absolutely you won't be able to speak even a single word against the government, right? You won't speak a single word against the wrongdoings in the country. You will just watch it, you will just witness it, and you can't do anything in that case. If so is the case, can we really progress, or can we really socially progress? The answer is no. In order to progress socially, the first precondition is that you should have the freedom of expression. The way, for example, Raja Ram Mohan Roy was there in India. He criticized the wrongdoings or wrong culture of the society. Mahatma Phule, Savitribai Phule, for instance, these people also, expressed their thoughts They spoke about education. They spoke about the injustice in society. Then only we could bring change in society. If there is no liberty, if there is no freedom, you can't imagine such kind of Mahatma Gandhi, Mahatma Phule, Savitribai Phule, or Ajaram Mohan Roy, or anyone for that matter. Okay, so that is why respecting, we can say, intellectual class and protection of their freedom of expression are equally essential. And why we are saying this? Because they are contributing in nation building. Hence, we call them as an asset of the nation. And if they are asset, definitely it's our responsibility, government's responsibility, to protect them. Right? Assets are always not in, we can say, materialistic forms. Even our culture, our ideas, our thoughts can also be called as assets. Okay, the rich heritage we get from our ancestors, we have to respect them as well, right? So these are essential elements we should keep in our mind when it comes to liberty and freedom of expression. Further point which is there about equality, yesterday only I have spoken about it, but today we will speak in different aspect. Okay, yesterday we were talking about equal rights or equal opportunities, and we tried to understand that merely by giving equal opportunity doesn't guarantee the equal society or egalitarian society, right? No, just by speaking that we want equality, equality won't come. For that you have to take intentional actions, then only you can realize such kind of societies. Again, in inequality, you have three aspects. One is social, second economic, and third is political. Okay, I think only 10 to 15 minutes are left, and I will try to summarize it in within time. Okay, and after that, if questions are there, we will take. Otherwise, we will continue for a few minutes. So, when it comes to social equality, it is expected that any kind of discrimination which can be based on caste, gender, race, right, is not expected. Any kind of discrimination on any ground is not expected. Okay, and if such kind of discrimination is existing, it means there is no social equality. Okay, there is no social equality if that injustice is existing. So here every person is supposed to be treated equally by the government, by the law, and by the society itself. Okay, so today you can see that even today, uh, by law, definitely we are moving towards equality, but in reality, in practice, we have not realized equality so far. Okay, that is why we witness that whenever any, we can say, uh, weaker section or socially backward person tries to imitate like upper caste person, their voice is silenced. Such kind of people are silenced. I won't take any example for this, but you are aware of that. What happens in the country, you are well aware of that. So you may just understand that. So even today, injustice or inequality exist to some extent. However, law does not allow these things to be done. Government of India, or we can say the law which is there in the constitution, it does not permit any kind of discrimination, particularly social discrimination. Okay. Secondly, when it comes to economic equality, again it is expected that the gap between rich and poor shall be minimized. Okay. And the fact is that we all know rich are getting more richer and poor are getting more poorer. So it is again contrary, opposite to this idea. Again, law says that we should have equality, right? Economic equality. But in reality, altogether we have different scenario. There is huge gap between rich and poor, right? So this is also against, we can say, the notion of law. Law is expecting equality, but that is not realized so far. Okay. In this, it is expected that equal wages shall be given to equal work. Okay. For instance, if someone is working in a, we can say, a real estate company or a construction site, it is seen that male person gets more wages than females. Not only that, even in corporate offices, many times male person gets higher salaries than females. It shows what? Law is not allowing them to do so, but still due to some, we can say, loopholes in the law, such people takes advantage of that, and eventually discrimination is done with women's and with socially and economically weaker sections. So this is also something which needs to be worked upon. And third one is political equality. Political equality is simply where nobody is getting extra privileges. For instance, you can just understand that in India, every person has equal voting right. Nobody can vote twice, right? Nobody can have multiple votes in one election. Whether you are rich or poor, white or black, male or female, doesn't matter. Everyone shall vote equally. Okay? That's first aspect. And second aspect is nobody shall be deprived of contesting elections. And there is a rule, on any ground like religion, caste, gender, government cannot stop you from contesting elections. Whether you are rich or poor, doesn't matter. Government gives equal opportunity, constitution gives equal opportunity, and when you have equal opportunity in politics, okay, when you can contest elections, when you can vote equally in the elections, it guarantees, okay, it talks about political equality. Okay, this is the thing. Not only that, every section's representation is expected in politics. Okay, if you want to cross check with, that how many male members are there in the parliament, lawmaking body, how many female members are there in parliament, how many transgenders are there, how many people belongs to different religions. So when you do this comparative analysis, you will come to know that there is no political equality even today, right? Just merely around 15% women's representation is there in Indian parliament, not more than that. Okay, only 15%. Since independence till today, we have realized only this much in terms of women's empowerment in politics. If 15% women's are there, it means what? Almost 85% male members are there in parliament, right? Huge inequality, isn't it? This is what is not expected by the constitution. Therefore, we have given equal voting rights, equal election contesting rights. But despite that, we have not been able to realize it. And that is why now government has brought the new bill called as Nari Vandan, right, bill, in which few seats of parliament will be dedicatedly reserved for the women's, right? And this will guarantee that a particular minimum amount of women's will be representing India in parliament, so that women's voice will be heard properly in the government. Women's issues will be addressed equally, right? Then last point is about justice. Justice is what? It's all about fairness, right thing to be done. You can simply understand by this meaning that whatever is right shall be done. Okay, and when you do that, you are ensuring justice. Many times we have the different notion of justice, that whatever we get in judiciary, we believe that that is only the justice. Yes, of course, that is also justice, but just the meaning or the concept of justice is broad enough. Okay, it is not small one. The concept of justice is broader one. So simply you can understand that whatever is right and that rightness shall be done. Okay. Again, there are these two types of justices: criminal justice and social justice. Criminal justice is what? Whenever anyone damages to you, you can simply go to judiciary. Judiciary will, deliver justice over there. Whoever is right, he will get the benefit. Whoever is wrong or guilty, he will be punished. That is criminal justice. Second thing is social justice. Social justice is what? Where everyone shall get their due rights. Okay. Whatever due rights are there, those due rights shall be provided by the society and the government. Okay. So it's all about, you can say, giving justice to the society, in which women are part of that society, children are part of that society, even environment is also part of that society. Nowadays, we're talking about environmental justice, where even plants or trees shall get the justice. Okay, just imagine, which is a, we can say, good thing, because protection of environment is also equally important, and for that you need to make laws, and that's why the justice for forest is seen nowadays. Okay, so it's all about the role of just legal system in upholding rights and equality. Whatever legal system is there, that legal system should be just enough. Just, you understand, right? Rightness, correctness. And when you have the just legal system, correct legal system, then only you can deliver appropriate justice to the citizens. All right. So I hope this is sufficient for today, and the time is also about to get over. So with this note, let us stop here for today. And now I'm opening it up for the questions. If any one of you have any question or query, you may ask just in 2 minutes. All right, I guess nobody has it, right? Chalo, fine. So we will conclude the session over here. Thank you.